Hello, my video presentation number 1 is about Excel modules 4 and 5. I'm going to go over the similarities and the differences between the theory and reality, and I'm also going to go over how we use it in real life. So let's begin by switching over to Excel. Now, this is my first worksheet, and here I was just playing around with it. I created a template for mortgage calculations because my project was finding my dream house. I wanted to see if I was able to make calculations and figure out how to buy a house that has a higher price and use a mortgage to finance it. And so that includes interest rates and terms. And so putting this all together is what I did with Excel. One of the differences I found out for Module 4 of Excel is the amortization schedule, which is a very useful tool, and it's great if you're in the business of handing out mortgage loans. However, if you're simply looking to buy a house, there's probably going to be somebody that will have this made for you. So for the customer, not that useful. However, if you go into the varied interest rate, this was very interesting, especially for young people, because it's a great way to see all your different options at different rates. So this really gives you an idea of what you should be paying, what you could be paying, and what you want to be paying. In Module 4, we also learn about PMT and PV functions, which are good for determining monthly payments for loans or present values of investments. And so that was pretty useful as well. That's something that you could use in real life later on if you have investments, or once again, if you want to figure out how much you have to pay on a loan. The next module is Module 5 for Excel. And so here, one thing I think that was very similar to the theory is, first of all, just using different and multiple worksheets. Now, this can be useful for compartmentalizing data while also keeping easy access to all your sheets of information. This is really great for researching houses because often you're going to have multiple houses you want to look at. You're going to have a lot of data for each house. So it's a great way to keep everything separate whilst also having it in the same place. One of the differences, excuse me, is creating files from worksheets. So creating different files and having them in separate files in your computer instead of having them just in one Excel document with different sheets. This I found a little less useful because it can get complicated and it's less interesting than having everything in one place and then you have to go search for everything all the time. One of the real-world connections I made to Module 5 was pie charts. Now this one is a very simple depiction of one, which I wanted it to be because I don't want something too complicated to mess everything up. So why is it so similar to real life? Why is it so useful? Well, because it makes Excel presentations, which are usually kind of dull with all the numbers and all that. For somebody that's not used to using all these tools, it makes it much more interesting. You have a colorful visual representation. So it helps for people that are more visual, that don't like all these numbers. So it really ties up all your information together nicely and provides a almost tangible photo or a way of presenting your data to an audience. Now, just to sum everything up, I'm going to go through the different sheets one last time. And I would just like to say that I used 4 and 5, modules 4 and 5 in Excel. And in module 4, I learned to use the PMT and PV functions. And I learned to assign names to cell and create an amortization schedule. And then in module 5, I learned to create a new cell style, which I actually use quite a bit in this one. I learned to copy a worksheet and I learned to format a pie chart. So that's it for my presentation. I'm just going to go over and show the bibliography, which you have here. I used the book and I used a dictionary definition, and finally my appendix, just for some of the words during my presentation. And that's about it. Thank you very much.